Hello, how you all doing out there? James here. I've made a video in a while. I've been staying off of, but I've been just really checking out other videos. I wanted to make this video basically talk about this one incident at the bar. And first, I'm going to show you this video on my phone, and then I'm going to give you my conclusion. This happened on Twitter. It's been seen on Twitter, and it's been on social media. A couple people recorded this, but here's this video off of Twitter.
What is you talking about? And you not talking to me. You are not talking to me. No, you not. You are not talking to me. So come with it. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna box my food. I'm gonna finish my food, and then I'll leave. That's okay with me, baby. I got a lot of money in my account. I asked her to turn it down, and she got snappy with me, and she just threw a whole box at me. I come up here and I play pool all the time. So all the time. She did just throw that box at me, sir. Period. I'm in a white place like this because I came up here to play pool. This is the only place with a pool table in the vicinity. So that's what I'm doing in a white place. That's what I'm doing in a white place. That's what I'm doing in a white place. That's what I'm doing in a goddamn white place. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. But guess what? Because I can come out and spend my money how I want to. You're taking our comment very offensive. That. Really snazzy. Period. I took it there. I know you racist. You look like a racist. But that's why you're poor. Most racist people are poor.
I'm gonna stop it right here, and I'm gonna say this. Number one, she was wrong. So many ways she was wrong. Number one, they have a right to refuse you. Number two, that's their business, and that's the establishment. Number three is that why would you go into a place if did someone have to at least kind of give you a warning that there are some people that are don't like other people? I don't understand some black people, and who try to insist on trying to make someone like them and try to patronize businesses that don't respect you. Let me say this. I learned this a long time ago. I was with some people when we were supposed to be at a church, and I thought they were pretty good people at the time. So what happened was, I went to their house, and it seemed like the first couple of times it was good. It was a group of people, and I didn't think much about it. It was this other group of people that came from another part of the city, that on the outskirts of the city, that they never really been around other people, black people. And so you had this other person who I knew through this person how we came out here to this particular house church. And the thing about it is that they really didn't like black people. Even though it was disguised as being Christian, and we want to have these experiences with the Lord Jesus and everything, but the person didn't. But the people that were coming there, they really didn't want to interact with me and this other person that were black. And up in certain places in Ohio, unlike Georgia, what you see that they let you know straight out what you're doing here. I don't understand what is the point is. Sometimes, black people have to understand this. It doesn't matter what about your money. It doesn't matter education. It doesn't matter the status that you did. They are simply telling you you're not welcome. Simple as that. This woman, what she did was wrong. And I was thinking about even other past leaders that saying when black people had their own businesses, they didn't have to deal with that. But the civil rights pushed this to happen. Like we got to integrate with people that don't like you, that haven't gotten over that. And even if they are poor, and if they are right, it's their right. Unfortunately, that's their right to be. You can't change someone's heart. If they're a bigot, they're a bigot. It's as simple as that. If they are a bigot, they're a bigot. It's as simple. I don't understand why some of us have to be around and try to argue and try to justify and say, well, my money is good as my money. Your money is obviously. Is someone telling you we don't, and they give you signs of it that they don't uncomfortable with different groups of people? Don't go in that place and patronize their business. You can and let other people know that hey, they don't like black people, and it's as simple as that. You don't have to go around people that don't try to make them like you. And this is something that over time, because when I think about my own incident, with the church, I'm like, dang, I thought these people were supposed to be loving in Jesus Christ. And sometimes some people, they're not of Christ. They put on an air like they're Christ, but they're not. That's not their heart. And I had another incident where, I have some people that I was kind of close to, and one time we were out. I was out with my friend's family, and they happened to be Caucasian. They were white, and so we was having a good conversation, and I was with his brother-in-law and his sister, and something was bothering his brother-in-law because of what happened when I went over his dad's house, and it was a neighbor that they interact with, and he go making this insinuation about Muslims, and I'm like, that's like, and he's supposed to be Catholic. He's supposed to be a Catholic Christian, but he obviously had trouble with Muslims. And then not only they had trouble with Muslims, he had trouble with black Muslims. And I'm like, oh. And so, and his brother-in-law was telling me that he didn't like that. He didn't want to be around that guy because he saw that he was lit low in his bigotry. Nobody in there corrected him and said, hey, obviously try to water it down. But it's like they kind of like didn't want addressed it. And that's the problem I had with some people. And therefore it's kind of like I don't really go around his family like that no more. Is because that was one of the incidents. The second time, it was when his grandmother had these relatives that passed over. Right? She passed away, right? And we was over at her house after the funeral and after wake. And he had these other relatives that never really been around black people. And so it wasn't directly like the way this woman was. He started with a conversation like, oh, well, one of the conversation was that he thought he was this genius at work, that he can get into people's mind and things like that. That's how it started out with. So we listened to the me and my friend Pauline, we listened to the conversation because she's black too, and we went over the house. And next thing you know, he come out the woodwork with, there's some lazy white people and there's some lazy black people. Why you have to make it about black and white? And the reason why I'm saying is, like, why can't you just say it's just lazy people? What I'm saying. But he had to point it out. And among, we're being the only black people there, that they feel comfortable in letting that out. So, needless to say, that didn't sit well with my friend Pauline. And that definitely didn't sit well with me. And the relationship kind of changed. And then my friend, in so many ways I tried to talk to him about it, but here's you have people that their parents never taught them about reality, about race in this country, and so they see the world differently. And it's like, I feel like you shouldn't have to really explain something to somebody when it's clearly right in your face. And unfortunately, the neighbor that I was telling you about earlier, he passed away, and I really didn't know the guy all like that. I've been down there. I did go one time go down to his house because his sister said, "Hey, why don't you come on down? We're going." I didn't get in, and for some reason, I wasn't allowed to get in that pool. But I just sit down there and just, hey, watch the kids, and he wasn't home at the time, luckily. But I never went back down there ever again. And what I'm telling, and what I've learned from this, and this ain't about black or white, but some things you have to be realistically about. And my motto is, stop trying to fit in where you don't click in. And the best thing though, in her case, she could have went to another bar, another restaurant where it was well integrated. This was a bar full of racist, inbred bigots. Let's just call it what it is. Why are you trying to do that? And from what they said in the video, it was in Georgia. It don't matter if it was stated that it was in Georgia, if it was in PA or Indiana or Idaho. Why would you go to some place and try what it is? They probably got Confederate flags in the bar, because some of the places got Confederate flags. There's 100 doggone bars, and you have to pick that one, and then you have to pick a fight with these particular people, and you don't know. I wouldn't trust them getting no food or no drink, because it can probably piss and spit in your stuff, and then that's how nasty, or throw your food on the floor. I don't understand. I just don't get. And you think I'm going to trust somebody with that food? And they feel that way about black people, and they telling you, what are you doing here? This is a white bar. She really obviously didn't think, and arguing with some people on their turf about things in their place. And so really, and like I said, they had a right not to serve you, because they can feel that you are a threat. Number two, she was wrong because you start filming. So they can ask you to leave, because you can film, but when it comes out, maybe film on stuff on the outside, but if you go into someone's establishment, they may not like that. Could be a violation, and that can lead into legal problems. See, they come back and do that, even though you're trying to prove that these people trying to prove that they're bigoted, they're racist and stuff. But the point of it is, what did you get? All I just want to do is get my food and leave. And then she knew that they was getting kind of hostile, and when you walk into an environment, it's hostility. And let me tell you how I know when someone don't make no eye contact with you and they look at you, they don't even want to even look at you when you're black. When they do that, they let you know you're not welcome. You know, and they don't want to make conversation with you. They don't want to make eye contact with you. They don't have to be directly like these people were in this video. And that's the way how people who have hidden prejudice up in the northern states are, in probably northwestern, northeastern states. Sometimes they maybe not be directly come at you. Like, you know, hey, what you doing in the bar? And they might do it within the joke. They might say with a joke or something. Or like I was telling you, that happened. But I just wanted to make this video, and I learned something from this experience. Like, hey, stop trying to click in where you don't fit in. Stop trying to click in where you obviously you don't fit into their narrative. Stop trying to fit in, and that's the problem with us. And sometimes you can just get a vibe. Like, you can tell when somebody just don't know you, and that could be with anybody, and they may not be really interact with you. And some people are like that as people, because you're not gonna find someone that look like me can treat me the same way. But you know, sometimes you have to really look. But when it comes to prejudice and racism, you have to be smart about it. And like I said, what she could have done was went to another facility, which is black owned or interracially mixed owned, where it's black and white. Why would you go around some people that is an area where it's predominantly white and they're racist? And there's certain places in the United States are like that. And you're trying to change their narrative. Oh, you know, you're going to serve me because they don't have to do nothing. And it doesn't make sense to go into some place where there's prejudice. There's some people who are going to be like that to the day Jesus stepped his face into earth. You know, you can't change somebody. You can pray for them and maybe ask God to change their heart, but that's as far as it goes. I learned this. But stop going into places where you're not wanted. If you're a black person listening to this video, or any other person listening to this video, stop doing that. You can't change someone's heart who's a bigot. If they're a bigot, they're a bigot. Only he can change their heart and the way they see things. Because there's some people going to be a bigot till they die. They're going to be a racist till they die, unfortunately. But what she did, no. And it even was like during the time when I sat down and I really thought about even doing civil rights. I understand what they were trying to do, but why didn't black people just invent their own thing? Why did you just have? Why was enough that you had to motivate you? The rest of us could have motivated and had our own. More could have been built, more hotels, more busing, transportation, and said, okay, if you don't want us in your establishment, in your eatery, let us build our own, like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and different places, you know. And that should inspire black people and more black people. That you know, the people who are not prejudiced, they're not going to come to your business, because obviously, for a very reason, because racist people think that they're racist. They think that they're superior to you. You're inferior to them. So they ain't gonna want to come. They ain't gonna want to mess with you anyway. I mean, they do. You got them. But why can't you go? Why can't you go to your own and have our own people? And if somebody who's white, who is non-prejudiced, they'll let you know right there and there, because you own the business, and they come to you, and you can tell the ones that okay, obviously these people are not prejudiced because they come around us. But if they're racist and they're prejudiced, you either they come do something, then you got grounds to do anything, if they do anything to harm you, or and you have grounds to sue them that they try to do anything against you. But this could have backfired, and they can do that. Even she turn around and try to sue them. I'm just telling you, they had the right to neglect you for your service. People can still be, even though they can still be prejudiced. Did you know that that this slavery still in the law, and someone pointed this out, that they're still on the books in certain states in America, that they never took off the books? One state was Tennessee. I didn't even know this until someone pointed this out in the video on YouTube. So the past have never, some places in the United States haven't left the past. Some places in the United States, and not just down south. It could be out west, it could be northeast, but there's certain places you do not go to, because it could be costing your life, literally, or harassment. This is the least. The worst can be, hey, it can cost you your life. Not everybody's free. But I just wanted to make this video and give you my testimony. And even when I was out there driving and going through little towns, and what they would call it back then, they don't call it sundown towns now, but there's a remnant of sundown towns where, see, America is different when the complexion of the person it is telling you the story. Most white people are not going to tell you in America about racism in sundown towns. They're not going to tell. Some won't tell you. But black people, when we go through something, we experience it, we tell it. And then of course there might be some white people that might tell it too, and they will have to tell it because it's in the history book. Like there's certain places like I was watching this video called it was Cairo, Illinois. I don't know if it's Cairo or Cairo, and it's an import town. And there was this one guy that was YouTube blogger, and the town is basically abandoned. The area is basically abandoned. But towns like that, those sundown towns, all the industry has left. There are people there, but there's no industry that's never going to come back through there. Why? Because it was a sundown town. And black people, like other people, like white people and black people and other people lived there. A few other people, but I think it was mostly black and white. They kept the blacks, and did some with egregious and injustice things to them, that the town turned out to be a curse. And they drove the blacks out with a lot of injustice as far as jobs, not giving black people jobs, not giving black people adequate housing, not giving black people things. It's a story about that. It was racial wars in the United States, and what people don't understand, the spirit of the racial wars still exists among this generation, and it's racism. Racist people pass stuff down to the next generation, and the mockery of the next generation of other races and other ethnic groups of people. But that's basically was saying that, and people don't understand. They say, well, we're living in 2022, it should be that way. You're right, but you're going to deal with the element no matter where you go in America. Some individuals or individuals, it's not necessarily the collectively of a group of people, but it could be individuals on your job, in your neighborhood, you seeing stuff like this pop up all over, and it's not just and there's other people going through it too. There's other different groups of people, whether they're Asian, Hispanic, people in a different religion like Muslim, Jews, and things like that. Yes, they go through some things, but when it comes to the complexion of the skin, the number of people that would encounter the most things, the first people that encounter the horrific racism on this law is black people. Other people go through pressures and racism in certain areas that kids might go through in certain schools, but you can always go to an integrated area where, if it's an integrated area, they'll get rid of that person. It's good to stay in an integrated area, but if you in the United States, and there's certain places that are not really integrated, that's where you're gonna have your encounter with. You're gonna have an encounter with these non-integrated areas, and they don't want to integrate. And this is why you see these different groups like the white nationalists, and they start bringing you seeing the Klan, you seeing skinheads, and they putting all these different or the other organizations that like that, is because it is what it is, and you can't stop it. They try to follow it down unless it gets to the point someone literally murders somebody because of their race, but they really don't want to let racism go. And they don't really particularly when you have a country is majority white males and white females, they really don't want to go at it hard when it comes to the issue of race. That's my opinion. And those that put in office, because they get rid of racism, but people no. It go along like apple pie. They just gotta let you know what your place is. But and that's sorry to drag on this long, but I just wanted to point it out that they can neglect you for service, and you should, like I said, what I've learned over time is that if you're a black person and you see them sign, don't sit there and tolerate something like that, or anybody is non-black. If someone can't adjust their reality that you are a different shade, a different color, don't go around them. It's simple as that. Don't go around people. Why are you trying to argue with people that are like that? Like in her case, just get up there. I wouldn't, unless you pay for the food, but I wouldn't even order no food from them. I wouldn't trust eating up from them. And what they do with the food and with the drink. You can't, stop, I don't know, maybe she's probably one of the millennials, whatever. And, and somebody said you should know better. And I know we live in a time, but there's some people that still carry out that stuff. And when you're non-white in this country, you gotta watch your steps. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful where you go and who you associate with. And even if your friend or your fiance or whatever is white themselves, they really look down upon them. And they'll beat them up and jack them like they and harass and beat you up and shoot you as well. Like they do in the civil rights. They could take you into one of the back rows out there and they never hear from you. We as a people gotta realize it's dangerous. Someone's dangerous if you deal with someone in the city. But yeah, I just want to make a quick video about that, and it's the reality. People got to see it for themselves. People have to see this. And I want to make some other videos later on about what this one woman said about her religion, dealing with people of a different race. And it's coming out of her mouth. and it's gonna come like someone else's video, but this just came off a TikTok video. But I just want to show, even though some people don't like what I put up with, but it's the reality. Some things ain't always funny. Some things we can have a laugh and have a good time, but there's a reality in America that we need to talk about, we need to address, and we need to face, and need to be aware. But yeah, but that's how I think, and it really did. And I'm not saying you got to cut the person out, but you don't have to go into the environment. And that's what I've learned from my personal experience. Because I never went back over that area again, even where his dad lives at. I mean, I go to one of his relatives' house if I want to hang out with him, or go somewhere else, or maybe go to his house. But I don't want to go around people like that. And really kind of pull away from someone like that. It's like, really, if they would overlook something like that, what else would they overlook? And then turn back around, I forgot to tell you this, that he made an airplane in his honor. He had a model airplane, right? And he put the man's name, and see, he wanted to honor who he think this neighbor was his friend. The neighbor that the friend I was telling you about, that the brother-in-law caught this man saying racist things. He made a plane after him. Just to say that and from there I kind of backed away from that, because I recognize that. And when we had that conversation in Cleveland, he kind of like, well, I don't know too much about Fred. I know he was a good Christian man. You know, that he was a good man, and he tried to explain this thing to me. But just because someone Christian don't mean that they're not a bigot. Just because someone's religion ain't got nothing to do with it. Maybe to you that they don't. That I believe in the Lord, and that's the first thing they did. And like I was saying, these people were supposed to be Christian when I was at their house, church house. They're supposed to love the Lord, love Jesus. But they couldn't be in the same room with me and worship and associate with me because of my complexion of my skin. And it was obviously the way they were acting out. Because when I stepped up my way to kind of interact with them, and they kind of were drawing themselves back. And then it's like they kind of like him, and they kind of, and it's like when we get together, they would never tell me, like if we was going on the streets, and we supposed to be as Christians and going out on the field, what you let me know that we going out on the streets of a particular area, and they never tell me. But it's like they have to put on a face. And the reason why some people, and this can apply to anybody, people don't want to come to church, with some cases, because people get tired of being phony. Just because someone, and it don't necessarily have to be someone Christian, it could be anybody. Like, why would I want to be around somebody who's phony? And it was the same way when I was, coming up in Youngstown, Ohio. I went to a Catholic church, and I remember that I was the only black kid there. But none of these people that, I tried to open and interact with them, but they never really want to interact with me because I'm not a part of them. And they come from different upper, so they come from these little small upper suburban class where they never, and you can tell that they never really been around black people. It's like black people like any other people. We just people, just kids are kids, right? But you got people that never really been around, so they don't know how to interact, and they don't want to interact with you. But they'll just ride it and feel along with you, but they really don't want to interact with you when you're black. And then some people, and some people, how they do it, they coded it that way. And they put on a smile on your face, and they'll act like there's nothing wrong that is, but they see the world where they see it. And I'm telling you, what I'm telling you is because I've experienced it. The hidden part. See, not what they did directly. They didn't. Someone had to tell me, hey, hey, what you doing here? You know this is a white bar? They had to tell me something like that. They told me, like, yeah, I'm out of here. I said, thank you, Hey, let me know. I didn't know. I ain't gonna come back. I ain't gonna return. I ain't gonna sit there and argue with somebody. You crazy? What you trying? And it's like what you're trying to prove, and what she was trying to prove. You just make yourself. We know if they are bigot, what you gonna do about it? By exposing it, and by clowning on them and saying, well, I know that you're poor, I know that you're white, and da 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 da. Then why would you go to some place if you don't know that? But my money just as good. It doesn't matter. And black people say my money, I should. It's not. It's your color. They don't care if you got the money. It's your color. It doesn't matter if I believe in Jesus Christ. It was my color. They can't stand your color, and they can't get it through their mind. So if they can't see, and they seen it with their eyes, and they can't believe with their mind, because what they've been told and what they've been raised up to believe. Why are you trying to prove? Oh, and go around somebody that can adjust around you because they can't accept you. So it's time to don't go around them. And as I get kind of older, it took me a while. When I was young, I was kind of a knucklehead like that in a way. I was naive, but not really that naive. I knew about racism, but I would take a chance. But I know when hey, God give you some wisdom, some common sense. God knows what's going on down here with people that say that they're not racist. They're racist. And sometimes racism is not going to be something that's going to be directly at you. It's going to come in different forms. Sometimes it's just something like a signal. You can tell by their body language. They're signaling at you. I'm giving you some, and if someone black, I'm giving you some jewels. If you don't have them come, and you black, and you young, you don't know about this, I'm going to tell you how it's going to come. How people who are prejudiced, you're not going to directly see this. Just how they do it, because they see you, but they see you here, and what they think of black people on, because TV has done the thing, perception have done the thing, news, and someone you see a bunch of black kids doing something, so they see something, and they see you coming, and that they see, all they see is black people doing something they ain't supposed to, even though other people can do something. But when the media shows black, that's what people see and hear. So they don't want to associate with you. Some don't want to be around you, and the ones who do, they'll give you that signal. And some people, I ain't gonna get a lot of views and likes on this video, but hey. But God, if I can reach 1, 2, 3 people, 2 people that understand what I'm talking about, that's what it is. Because it's for me to share some wisdom with you at the same time. I'm not saying being bitter and being angry, and look at all people, put all people in the same category. But you gotta be aware of what's out here. And sadly, there's some people that look like this don't want to. They want to kind of look past and and put on something else, when it's directly in your face. And some of our people are guilty of, the people that look like us are guilty of that. They should tell their children the truth. Tell your children the truth. That there's some people, because they're not going to want to understand what is racism, why they keep doing this. Because this young man, young woman, they see you here because of TV and the news. And that's what it is. There are some people, don't mean that everybody's like that, but when if it's directly, if it comes to innuendos and jokes like, let me tell you about the black guy with the watermelon and stuff like that, watch that. It's sarcastic at first, but that's where it starts. Boy, you guys sure make a lot of babies and don't take care of them. And they can make something. It could be something like that. I'm trying to tell you. They see something, and then they mimic it and they mock it, because it lets you know that's what they're really about. And you say, man, you racist, you prejudiced. Oh no, I'm not prejudiced. I like rap music. Yeah, you can like rap music. You can like barbecue ribs, but that don't mean nothing. You can like Martin Luther King, it don't mean nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, it don't sound kind of ridiculous, but people are justified because that's what they try to equate it with, the culture. That's why I'm saying this. When they start talking to them, and they just do little things like that, like, oh yeah, you know, and it's something hypersexual about your sexual, not you as a person. That's what I'm saying. And so I'm dropping some jewels. So don't be around someone that look at color that way. And if you're a black person, you'll see it. You may not like what I'm saying to you now. You're younger. You may not. Oh, you're a woman. You're a man. You may not, but you'll see it. You'll see the form. And you might say that guy was right at some point, because sometimes it's not always direct like it was on his Talk video. It's indirect, and it's something that's in some people that was raised to be that way. So they gotta come out with it because their friends done it. They might have been doing it at school or something like that. Talk about black folks. They might be in their own home, and then whatever's in the home, it comes out. They bring it out. The reason why I know, I've been around people in their home. They said it directly in front of my face, and I'm just dumb enough to hang around until there's something kick in and say, "Hey, they dogging you out. They disrespecting you as a person, as a God-given person on this planet. Your skin color, what they were taught." So that's all what I'm saying. So I hope anything you take out of this video is to educate and let you know a game. And it's time to let people know, because some people, they don't know what prejudice is and how it projects out. Sometimes racism is coded. They can't be direct. They can't call you the N-word no more, but they can code it up like it is. Listen what I'm telling you. And avoid the confrontation, all that, and not go around that. Be among people who think like you, of all walks of life, who don't let that slip out their mouth, or be around your own people. But avoid the bigots and stuff. The in the closet racists and the outer closet racists, that's the best way to avoid it. And really, if it's on your job, I would try to avoid it and go in your own business. You got the talent, start your own business. You will have to deal with the people that's bigot. And if you big, at least if you can tolerate it, it is. But you be making the money. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time. Yeah, the message was just don't be like this woman. And stop going to places where you don't fit in, you don't click in. You don't have to justify some of the bigotry. We know certain areas that is out there. You don't have to just stay away from the people. Okay then, you guys take it easy. Till next time, you be blessed.